Hello, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my second semester biology project, which I decided to do on leukemia. And the reason I decided to do this, uh, excuse it, they're doing graduation practice. The reason I decided to do this project on leukemia is because I used to know a guy. He's actually my sister's ex-boyfriend's brother, and his name was Will. He had leukemia for a short time, a couple years ago. So I just felt this was, a good topic to cover it on. So we're gonna be going over some, basic facts about leukemia, how it starts, how it affects the body, and treatment options of it. So, what is leukemia? Leukemia is a type of cancer that basically it affects the bone marrow in the body. So the bone marrow is, you got to, let's say at your bone, your forearm bone, okay? Inside that bone is something called bone marrow, and it's like a spongy substance that creates white blood cells. It creates a whole bunch of different cells, especially in eukaryotic organisms. I'm not sure about prokaryotic, but eukaryotic, and especially, you can see it in there. So yeah, white blood cells come from this thing called bone marrow, which is a soft tissue that lives inside the bone. And the bone marrow, it has something called a hematopoietic. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but don't kill me for it. Anyway, they have that, and it's a stem cell, which basically it's a premature cell, forming to grow. Okay, and these can form into a whole bunch of different things like monocytes, macrophages, neutrophils, natural killer cells, and white blood cells. And most of these cells are part of the immune system, which what that means is, they fight off viruses, infections. They can help treat scab or just like surface wounds, anything like that. And they're here to identify, to clarify, and to classify these viruses and to fight them as they need to. It's very, intricate system. But when leukemia happens, that basically it disrupts that building process of the white blood cells. It makes them dysfunctional, abnormal. They can't perform as much as they need to. And overall, it makes it worse, and it makes it harder for the white blood cells to do their job, okay? So we don't necessarily know how leukemia actually, like where it specifically comes from. It can be both abiotic and biotic factors. Stuff like genetic predisposition, exposure to chemicals, previous chemotherapy from if you had another cancer or something like that. Just basically stuff like that, okay? And the way I like to look at it is if it was like an invasive species or, a parasite, and it's in the ecosystem that it finds itself in, and it's just destroying everything. That's what leukemia is pretty much like, because it just, once it starts, it's terrible, okay? It's horrible. As stated before, leukemia does cause bone marrow to produce abnormal and dysfunctional white blood cells, which get in the way of healthy cells. So, white blood cells are usually in your bloodstream, and they can get in the way by blood clotting, or just forming giant clumps of white blood cells in your blood. So they can't allow red blood cells and, blood cells that need to go places to actually get there. And this causes a whole bunch of issues like anemia, just general malaise, just feeling tired all the time, infections, prolonged sickness because they're not getting where they need to be and they can't fight it as good enough, and it can even cause death if it's bad enough. But fortunately, modern medicine offers a variety of treatments to help leukemia. Of course, you got chemotherapy, okay, radiation therapy, drugs, immunotherapy, and stem cell transplants. That's usually the main ones that you would do if you had leukemia. These treatments can mean the difference between life and death. They could save your life, and you should be very grateful for surviving something like leukemia, because it's very serious. It's a horrible cancer. But in the case of chemotherapy, basically what it does is it purges the body of all your cells, okay? Mostly your white blood cells. You obviously still have to have red blood cells, but mostly your white blood cells, it's all gone, okay? Because it has to get rid of all of it. So your immune system is gone. Okay, you have to be put on a bunch of different drugs to help keep you healthy and keep you from getting infections, because if you do, you could potentially die. So some symptoms of that could be diarrhea, vomiting, headaches, prolonged illness, infections. But the potential benefits, I think, far outweigh the hardships. So in conclusion, leukemia, very dangerous cancer, is survivable with modern medicine. So if you have leukemia, please go get chemotherapy, go to a hospital, and get the help that you deserve.